Mountaineers go first. It's in our blood, it's in our sweat, and it's in our nature. In this era of Ancestry.com, finding your roots, and even shows like This Is Us, it's fascinating to discover those fortuitous, unforeseen moments that create bridges, span decades, and set a course that affects lifetimes. Take a look at this timeline. Notice Moses and Mary Moon. They were the first male and female in our family born free. The risk taker in them led them from Charlottesville, Virginia to Fayette County, Pennsylvania, and they settled across the street from each other. Their lives were full of firsts, from freedom to home ownership to businesses. Let's go ahead. That's what Mountaineers do. Say 100 years, 3 generations to Moses' great-grandson, Maurice Moon. In 1961, the sports programs at WVU were integrated, and Moses and Mary's great-grandsons, living just 40 miles away, saw an opportunity to go first and be bold, as it was in their blood. Maurice Moon, Moses' great-grandson, graduated high school in 1961 as Pennsylvania's high jump champion. When WVU recruited him to become one of their first African-American track athletes, he took the risk and graduated before moving to D.C. and becoming a career PE teacher. Sadly, we couldn't interview Little Red. That's what our family called him, as he succumbed to COVID just before Christmas. So, Little Red was Moses' great-grandson, but Mary's great-grandson grew up right across the street. He was 6 years younger, just old enough to remember and witness his big cousin's success. Also an athlete, and with that bridge built across the Monongahela River, Jim Braxton, we call him Bubby, kept going, not only to college, not only on scholarship, but also to WVU. Bubby, had a prolific time at WVU, even having a dormitory named after him. Bubby's football career is well documented, but there's somebody who can share an even more special first of Bubby's, his wife Pam. Their first came before the pride, before the recognition, during their freshman year.
My freshman year in 1967, in the center aisle of the classroom in Woodburn Hall, was a very serendipitous moment in my life. The alphabet was my friend, putting Jim Braxton across the aisle from me, Pam Lincecum. For you that knew him, there was never a stranger around. Because we both were PE majors, our paths crossed a lot that freshman year, and we started dating in our sophomore year. The rest is history. So, Wes Turner, I toss it to you. Let's go Mountaineers.
Thanks, Pam. My name is Wes Turner. I went to West Virginia in 1983, and I had many choices of schools to go to, but I chose West Virginia. My brother, Jim Braxton, came before me, but I remember my first recruiting visit, and Daryl Talley and Dennis Folks were my hosts, and they took me to have my first hot burrito at Wings and Things, and those guys enjoyed watching me suffer and got a good laugh after watching me eat that burrito. But I knew that only family would do that kind of thing to you. And with my brother being there and with these guys treating me so well, I knew that West Virginia was home for me. And I have a niece who is coming next, Jamie Braxton Brandt, who's going to speak next.
Well, I'm Jamie, and it's my voice you're listening to. Pam is my aunt, Bubby and West are my uncles. I was the first of my generation to attend WVU in 1990. And I was the first family member to stay in Tower 3 after it had been renamed Braxton Tower. My mom is Bubby's sister, and she met my dad when she visited Morgantown. My dad is also an alum. The majority of my time at West Virginia, I had the same roommate, which isn't such a big thing. But guess what? Yeah, Bubby, West, my mom, they had 6 more siblings. And Mary Ann's daughter, Melissa, was just a year behind me in high school. So, move over, Jamie. Melissa was coming across the bridge to go ahead. So go ahead, Melissa. Tell us about your first.
Hi everyone, I'm Mountaineer born and Mountaineer bred. The day I die, I'll be a Mountaineer dead. I'm Melissa. I fell in love with West Virginia on my first trip to Mountaineer Field. It was November 12, 1983. West Virginia faced Rutgers. My uncle, Wes Turner, was playing for the home team. The temperature in Mountaineer Field was bitter cold, but the crowd was anything but. You see, it was the atmosphere for me. Surrounded by other Mountaineer fans that cheered with me on every big play. I was hooked. I knew that day I wanted to go to West Virginia. Fast forward, I returned to Mountaineer Field on August 31st, 1991. I was a freshman, and the season opener was the Backyard Brawl, Pitt and West Virginia, in a nationally televised night game. The energy was pure electricity, and I was in heaven. Well, almost heaven. You see, it didn't matter what high school you went to, if you were black, white, poor, middle class, rich. On that day, country roads connected us all. And like my Braxton blood connects me to my family, it's the old gold and blue that make all Mountaineer fans family. Phil Braxton, go long.
In 1984, West Turner played in the Blue Bonnet Bowl, and it was WVU's last bowl win until the new millennium. 12/28/2000, his 5-year-old nephew, who was watching that game in Mary's house, was there for the next WVU bowl game in the year 2000. Phil Braxton. Every good story needs a plot twist. Here's one for you.
I'm the daughter of Pam and Bubby Braxton. I was born while they were both students there. I was reunited with my birth family in the late 1990s. One of my first memories of my birth family was attending the football game where they retired Bubby's jersey. At that point, I had not met any of the family, and I was excited to get my first glimpse of all of them during the Mountaineer game in Mountaineer Stadium. I couldn't believe I could find them in that sea of faces, but I did. Shortly after I became one of the family.
Thanks, Jen. So that's it. That's our story of first. It spans decades, years, millenniums even, but it doesn't end. Remember that 2000 season? It took my baby girl to the Blue Gold game. She wasn't feeling the Mountaineer. She made it right. She's a current student. Thanks for listening.